Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, God of Heroics, and today we are a little bit late, but that's fine. I ran some errands, and then I watched a new episode of Daima, and we are going to do our review on episode 7 of Dragon Ball Daima. There was a lot that happened in this episode, but also not very much that happened in this episode, but we're going to go over it because next week's episode is going to be super hype, and it probably will end up being my favorite episode. So without further ado, let's get started. If you like this kind of content, please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified to all future uploads. I'm trying to hit 500 by the end of the year, so please help me out if you can. I would really appreciate that. So, this episode of Daima begins where the last one left off. In fact, at the exact spot the last one left off, where Bulma's ship, or the ship that she fixed rather, which was Shin's ship, actually crashed and it did not really go anywhere. The point is here, Bulma states that there was a piece in there that was not working, basically. It was destroyed. And she did not know how to fix it because it is a mineral that only exists within the demon realm. So she replaced it to the best of her ability with stuff that they have on Earth, and basically the power source or whatever the piece was, it's an essential part of the ship. Basically, it didn't work, so the whole ship pretty much didn't work. And like I said, this was basically a way to segue into Hybis, which is the name of King Caden's assistant. Hybis coming to get them and to bring them all to the third demon world. So yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Nothing super big brain about predicting that. I mean, it was a pretty easy thing to see coming anyway. So Hybis shows up, and basically they are now there. Like, they end up leaving with Hybis, and they arrive to the third demon world. We're gonna get to that in just a second. But Vegeta, Piccolo, and Bulma, I think Kibito is there as well. I don't really pay too much attention to Kibito. My apologies. But yeah, they're all there in the demon world now. So, with Goku and friends, what's going on with them? They are in the plan that King Caden gave them, and they see that there's some gendarmerie soldiers basically flying around them. So they're like, hey, we're going to take a different route, but they get cut off. And the soldiers come up and tell them, like, hey, pull over, we're going to inspect your ship. So what happened here is in the last episode when they got pulled over, the gendarmerie soldiers scanned Pansy's collar. And this episode does a thing that I already predicted anyway. But yeah, they scanned her collar, and turns out they can track people through their collars, as they stated when they were taking people's lifespans for coins. They said, there's no point in running because we can track you through your collars. So they show up, and they are basically still looking for Goku, and they suspected that this ragtag group had Goku with them, and they were basically keeping him hidden, so they're going to search the ship. Shin told them not to worry about it. He's like, hey, don't worry about it. They're not going to find Goku. So I thought there was going to be like some kind of transformation magic, or he was going to like create some piece of block or whatever. You know how they can create like the Kachin blocks in Super. I thought he was going to do that and like put like encase Goku in it or something, or that they were going to like use transformation magic to put him inside or make him look like he was a different object, kind of like Poir and Oolong do. Another episode coming about Poir and Oolong, by the way. But yeah, so essentially, they got off the ship, and the people started searching the ship, throwing all sorts of stuff around, throwing all their luggage and pillows and everything outside the ship. And Goku did not get caught. Turns out that instead of using the transformation magic, they just did something far more simple, and Goku used instant transmission to teleport behind Pansy when the gendarmerie soldiers were looking through all their luggage, and then Goku hides in a bush. So the soldiers, they decided to be some assholes, and even though they said we didn't find anything and they were about to get ready and leave, they decided to grab Pansy and told her, hey, we're going to take you with us. We got some questions for you. And they were saying, oh, she's going to fumble under our questioning because she's a child. So Pansy tasers him. Basically, they were going to ask some questions about what happened a couple episodes ago. They said that a little girl showed up while they were conducting business, when they were back when they were stealing people's lifespan for coins, basically collecting hardcore taxes. So Pansy is suspected of being the girl that threw that wasabi bomb and tasered those guys, which she is, but she knows she is. So she tasers this guy for trying to, take her away. And because of that, now everybody gets to a fight. Shin and what's his name? And Glorio end up fighting. I think Pansy gets into that scuffle a little bit too, aside from just tasering the one guy. And Glorio and Shin and Pansy basically make light work of them. And they escape and they're about to go get recruits. And Goku jumps out of the bush and hits their ship with a ki blast, basically sending them flying. I think they're not dead. It's possible they're just going to get sent flying and they're going to call for recruits or whatever, whatever, whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Their ship got destroyed in the fight, but luckily for them, sorry, their plane got destroyed in the fight, but luckily for them, the Gendarmerie soldiers left a plane behind, which actually is the latest model, and it's twice as fast as the plane that King Caden had given them. So while it is unfortunate that they can't seem to keep a plane, this is, I think, the second or third one that has gotten ruined. They did have a backup, and now they're still on their way in their journey, and they're going to get there much faster. So, real quick before they go off on their journey, Shin or Supreme Kai asked to see the collar. He asked to see Pansy's collar, the one that was scanned, and he checks it out and says, "Yeah, this is made of Catchintite. It's a material that exists in the second demon realm in the village that the Glens are born in, which is the race that he is. So, since the Glens are born there and he's a Glen, and all of his magic is pretty much tied to his race of being a Glen, he's like, I could get rid of it." Pansy was going on this whole rant about how she's tried so many different magics and tools and all this to get out of it, but it's basically impossible. And then he's just like, I can get you out. Like, I know the magic to do it. So he touched the collar, imbues it with some magic, and he says, like, Pan Kachapan or Pan something. Pan Paka Pan, my bad. He says Pan Paka Pan, and he breaks the collar into shards, and she's all super happy and everything. But I think it's hilarious because they make I get like it's a serious moment, but there's like a real funny joke here. Like Pan Paka Pan is like the Japanese way of saying like surprise or ta-da. Like if you did a surprise party for somebody and you jumped out, you say Pan Paka Pan or something like that. And I just think it's hilarious that he basically says ta-da like he just did a magic trick, which technically he did, but it's funny to me. I like it. It's a cool situation. And uh, Ponzi gets on the ship and she asks him like, she says thank you, but then she asks like, what's his name? Because she didn't catch his name. He tells her, oh, that's my name is Shin. She's like, oh, that's your name in the other world, but what's your name in the demon world? And this basically, it's not a crazy thing. It's not a surprise. Nothing lore breaking or anything. It's kind of like how Goku is Goku on Earth, but with the Saiyans, he's Kakarot. So it's like that. So his name is Nahare, Nahare, which I like. It's a cool little name. It fits him. It fits his appearance. I can't look at him and be like, oh, that's not Nahare. But Goku's like, oh, I'm going to call you that. But he's more used to calling him Supreme Kai, so he's going to keep calling him Supreme Kai. Nahare, Supreme Kai, Shin. It doesn't really matter to me. He's a cool character. So all the stuff gets loaded up into the new ship, and Pansy calls a friend whose name I don't remember because this character I don't think ever showed up before or was ever mentioned before. But basically, she has a friend that can hack ships. She gave them data on the ship and the ship's ID number, and that person was able to give them a new pin because once they get the Dragon Ball, they won't be able to go to the second or first Demon World without a pin number to give to Warp Sama. So they got the new pin 1022. And they are now well on their way with everything in order. They stop by, look at the Tamagami. Goku sees them, really tall, really buff, armored, badass with this giant hammer. Imagine fighting like a melee-based Warhammer 40k player in their prime. This is essentially what this character looks like. Very intimidating. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this guy is hella powerful. So all fights with the Tamagamis are basically one-on-ones. This is the information that Glorio gives. Basically, all fights are one-on-ones. You can surrender, you can make it surrender, or you can die. I mean, those are pretty much your only options. Apparently, people know about the role, but most people don't really challenge him because it's not really a winning battle. So Goku's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go fight, but first I want to eat and use the bathroom. So they stop to get some dumplings, Demon Realm dumplings, which really look like it's like a Halloween treat that you can make for your family. So they talk to the server, and the server asks like, oh, you guys showed up in a Gendarmerie ship, but you don't look like Gendarmeries. And they're like, yeah, we're not. We just ended up stealing it. And he's like, nice. So they ask, when was the last time anybody challenged the Tamagami? He's like, oh, like 20 years ago. And apparently the person was strong, but they died. might come up later. Maybe we'll find out who that character was, or if that character was tied to anybody. Either way, pretty cool. So, um, aside from that, nothing crazy happened. I mean, Goku went to the bathroom and then he showed up to Tamagami basically in order to challenge him. You just have to casually challenge him, kind of like awakening Shenron. You just say, "Hey, Shenron, rise," and it's very normal. So he showed up and he's like, "Hey, excuse me," and for whatever reason, the Tamagami is screaming. Like, yeah, this is a big, like, powerful warrior, but I didn't expect him to have so much personality. Like, he's all like, "I'm Tamagami number 3," and delays himself like most powerful warrior in Demon World 3 and all this shit, and he hits this cool pose and everything. I'm just sitting here like, dude, calm down. And even Goku's like, "Why are you yelling?" But yeah, he basically challenges him. Goku takes a stance. Again, the Tamagami takes a stance, and they're about to fight. That's pretty much all there is for this episode. Next episode is going to be the actual battle. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, I had no problem with this episode. I think it was interesting that when Pansy was talking about the collars and how they've been basically used for oppression, and they were probably created around the time Deborah was the Demon King, probably made by Arinsu. Gloria just keeps giving this like side eye and walks away. I think like I get it. He works for Doctor Arinsu. He might be her son or creation or whatever. Who cares? But I'm just tired of them showing us these like sus visuals of just like Gloria looking like whatever. Like, dude, just I get it already. We get it. You work for Doctor Arinsu. Also, apparently the third Tamagami is stronger than Demon King Deborah was. So yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. It was not really super heavy with a lot of information. A lot of it was stuff that we kind of knew was going to happen anyway. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty nice episode. Next episode's going to be probably one of the best episodes we've gotten, and I look forward to it. Anyway, that's pretty much going to do it for me in this video. And like the video, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.